this story is very disturbing.
The details are disturbing.
Very disturbing.
Disturbing.
I think horrific is a better word. Unthinkable? Regardless, you get the point. Because of its disturbing nature, this was a story I wasn't going to go anywhere close to, but then something happened that propelled me into it. Before we get to that, let's hear what these 14, 13, and 12-year-old boys allegedly did to a 12-year-old girl.
You know what? We're going to grab her. We're going to pull her over to the sofa in between this building, and you two are going to hold her hands while I take off her pants, her panties, and have sex with her. And not only that, but she's screaming for help.
I have no idea what has happened to our society to the point where teenagers can do this and think it is somehow perfectly fine. Not only teenagers, but also freaking adults.
The girl told detectives they stopped after they heard her father calling her name. The report also says another young person was with the group of boys and told detectives he did not participate or say anything because he was afraid of, quote, getting beat up.
So let me get this straight. You decided to rape a girl because you was afraid of getting yo ass raped. Not beat, raped. And this is often a side effect of not having any positive masculinity within the black community, where you have that one guy within a group like this that says, no, we're not doing this. And if you do this, you better hope I don't put your ass 6 feet under. Instead, what the black community is plagued with is this go along, get along type of mentality where it's like, so long as we have dirt on each other and so long as you're sticking to the cause or the black interest, we're going to do the most degenerate thing possible. It often reminds me a lot with the Dawa Boys and Islam, with like Sneeko and Daniel Hakikachu and the rest of them. Like, the second one of them upsets the group, all of a sudden they just kind of like start turning on each other. So in order for them to like make sure like the group stays as a group, they often have like dirt on each other, or they'll use like intimidation or violence on the other person to make sure that person stays in line.
All 3 boys are now charged criminally as adults.
Sir, you were arrested on serious charges, actually.
Okay, first of all, Poindexter, I know for a fucking fact you don't wear those glasses, all right? This reminds me of that episode of the Boondocks when Riley ends up getting called the N-word by the white teacher, and Granddad makes him put those glasses on to make him look like an quote-unquote intellectual. It's like, nigga, we know for a fact you don't wear that shit because you be getting your ass checked 24/7, 7 days a week. You wouldn't even be allowed to hang out with those 2 other boys because of those glasses. They'd be rocking your ass 24/7 talking about, oh, why are you trying to look like a white person? Why are you trying to act white? You know what you need to do to act black? Hold this 12-year-old girl down while I pull down her pants. Like, nigga, you didn't wear your glasses here, but you wore them here. No amount of intellectualism is going to make you get out of this. What happened to that IQ before you raped her? Oh, wait, you had to throw that away because having an IQ means you're white. Then when you get caught, you think acting white's going to let you get out.
You were indicted by a grand jury.
2 of the boys were in court facing serious charges.
So you're 12 years old?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. This is a very complicated matter.
And complicated.
So what forced my hand on this gruesome story? It was the family members of the suspects. First, the woman who is purportedly the auntie.
You been talking about you wanted to do this to me. You finna, do me like this. So I guess he got aggressive with her, and she was like, oh, no, I'm not finna do that. I'm not finna sleep with all of y'all. I'm only sleeping with him. So I guess whatever happened, while they was running the train on her.
I remind you, we're talking about a 12-year-old.
Your daughter ain't telling the truth. Your daughter only pressed the charges because you forcing her to press charges. Your daughter was never a virgin before she got touched.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
Okay, first of all, because a child is asking for it doesn't mean they honestly deserve it. Like, I think this is also another issue within the black community. It's not necessarily primarily in the black community, but it's almost like everywhere, where children think they're grown enough, and because they act grown enough, there are people that kind of act on the child's ambitions to be grown. Like, don't get me wrong, there are scenarios where acting on that is appropriate just to put them in their place, to let them know, hey, You don't want to grow up too fast. You may want to stay in this lane. Like, say, for instance, a kid thinks they're so grown to a point to where they can talk any kind of way to a grown-up. Honestly, do believe grown-ups do have a right to put their hands on that kid to put them in their fucking place. However, in this instance, in terms of sexuality, I don't think that's appropriate. Matter of fact, I don't think it's appropriate in any other kind of way, shape, or form. Because I don't think a lot of people are aware of this, but unfortunately, not a lot of people are aware of this, that children cannot consent to sex, no matter how much they ask for it. So making this claim like your daughter's a hoe, so therefore she, got what she deserved, it's not really an argument, ma'am.
Let's see what the father of one of the suspects had to say to the news.
This is a 12-year-old boy we're talking about. We're going to leave him in jail and put a life charge on a young man, a young black man.
Sorry, bud, I don't think the race card is going to work on this one.
That was visiting Miami. It was with the wrong two kids, a 15 and a 14-year-old. My son is 12 years old and has a father that takes care of him. These allegations are bogus.
I'm sorry, fam, but that excuse ain't gonna fly. That excuse, it's gotta die. It's gotta die. I'm so sick and tired of hearing that fucking excuse. It's not even funny. I understand you as a father was in his life, which is great. But it begs the question, despite the fact that you was in his life, how the hell did he, despite you being in his life, justify the idea of raping a 12-year-old girl with two other boys? See, this is a perfect example of how a father, even despite being in a child's life, has failed because the culture has control of your kid over you having control over your kid. The culture said, you're going to do this to prove how black you are. As opposed to you being a man, you should have set your kid down at a certain age. Considering he's 12, you should have had this talk with him a long time ago. You should have set your kid down and said, look, as a young man, these are things that you're not going to do. And one of them is raping women or raping girls. You need to understand consent. Like, you probably did the bare minimum. Like, you probably bought him food, bought him clothes, bought him what he want. But you didn't give him what he need. You didn't teach him how to operate in life. You didn't teach him what it takes to be a man. Because if you did, your son would have got his ass kicked for defending a 12-year-old girl from being raped. Or would have actually kicked their ass and been a hero to the town. But nope, here you are playing the race card and playing the race card after your son just got through violating a child's bodily autonomy is going to get out because we don't want to be racist.
The victim says his son Josiah held her down and put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming for help.
I haven't spoken to my son since he's been incarcerated. Everybody's plastering my son on Facebook, Instagram, on every media, and making him out to be a person that he isn't. This is a 12-year-old boy that gets good grades, goes to school every day. You understand me? He is not the child y'all making him out to be.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, this ain't working. Race card ain't working. Maybe you should try something a little bit different. Like, I don't know, like Islam. Maybe if your kid was like part of Nation of Islam or some shit, I heard the word Islamophobia has a lot of good mileage on that card. I mean, yeah, his God is already diagnosed as a pedophile and everything. Your son kind of already rationalized the idea of just, forcing girls down and forcing himself on them. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? What excuse do you think it's better? I did it because I'm black, or I did it because God said so?
It's not true. He's on
The boys are pleading not guilty. Anything's possible, I suppose, but the mother of the victim is confident they're guilty.
At the end of the day, they did it. I don't care if they get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. Guess what? I'm going to always feel like, as a mother, as a woman, I'm going to always feel like it's not enough.
It's a damn shame, like, things like this happen. And it's a damn shame when you have people like this that can somehow formulate a defense in any way, shape, or form. Like, I can understand it's your kid and everything. I get it. But at some point, you're going to have to look at yourself and you're going to have to look at that camera and you're going to have to go, I'm sorry, and I failed as a parent. And I think a lot of people in the world will actually empathize with you a lot more just coming out with that, as opposed to just simply saying, well, we can't do that because he's young, he's black, and he's a male. And unfortunately, like a lot of people think raising a kid is just simply, using your money and just buying them things. It's more than just buying them things. It's passing down what you went through to them and letting them understand these are the things they need to do, and then these are the things that they shouldn't do. Because if you don't do that, well, then guess what? Your culture is going to teach your child these are the things that they should do, and these are the things that they shouldn't do. And if not your culture, it's going to be your enemy's culture, or your enemy affecting a culture to corrupt your kid to make them do these things. I said it before and I'll say it again. We live in a country where your kid is no longer your kid. Your kid is your movement's kid. Now your kid's going to end up in the pipeline of either Nation of Islam or Black Lives Matter. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys for the next video. Until then, take care and be safe, and God bless.
Do